Okay, here we go with our third video in kind of our intro to Java programming series. Last video we covered some logic stuff with looping and if-else statements. This one I'm going to cover, we're going to talk about basic things. We're going to combine some things we've learned in the other ones. We're going to talk about arrays. And then we're going to also kind of learn how we can work with loops in a little bit more creative ways. So we could call this one kind of arrays and kind of common logic. So let's just start a new project. For the sake of this, once again, you could work with both in Eclipse. You could work within the browser website, idn.com. Either one works fine. So let's go just a new project. So new project, we do want a Java project, and once again I'm just going to call this, let's call it max. I'm going to call it max because that's one of the things, the example we're going to do is that. Good enough. Next, max, and that looks good. Finish. Once again, get inside the project, the source file, right click, new class. We want that kind of main Java class. I'm just going to call it the main, as this is going to be the main Java file. Again, that kind of reverse domain name, com, educate, soft is my site. And we're going to call it max. Good enough. I also want to make sure I add that public static void main method. Make sure that's going. And it looks just like the website. We're good to go. So the first thing I want to introduce you guys to is the concept of arrays. Arrays are kind of variable groupings. So I'm going to go int numbers, and I'm going to do these kind of square brackets, and that's going to be kind of your sign for an array. That always tells me, okay, this is an array. You can tell we got an array up here, a string array up here, because it's got those square brackets. And then we're going to go equals, and then you know what? We can use curly brackets and just kind of name these. So I'm going to say number 7, 1, 5, 11. I want a big number. No, I don't want a big number at the end. Let's go 12 and 6. And so you can see that and then just kind of, I can close that off with those curly brackets and then a semicolon. And so this is an array. It hasn't been used yet. That's why it's yellow. But you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values there. This would be numbers, and then we would have that array value there. 7, or this would be the 7 value would be actually number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first value in an array takes on the number 0 as the how to name it. So it would be actually numbers, in this case 0 would be its value, okay, of that 7. We don't need that right this second. We just know that that's a set of numbers. Okay, so that's an array. What we're going to learn, okay, is we're going to use that. Let's say we wanted to run and find out, well, we have a set of numbers. Maybe we don't know what these are. Maybe they're coming in from a user somehow. And we want to find the maximum value of those numbers. So how the heck are we going to do that? Well, how about we loop through each one of these values? And that's where an array comes handy when you're working with loops. And then each time just check to see if the number was greater than the last number. So let's do that. Okay, so let's say, let's put another integer here and we'll call it max. And max, we'll say, is currently set to 0. Okay. Now let's have a for loop. We learned about for loops last lesson. So first thing I want to have is I want to have some kind of count. So let's just call integer count. That's all we wanted to do, and it's going to be set to 0, 2 to start. Remember, the start of a loop, we first of all initialize a variable that we can increment at the end. Then we have a condition. Well, we're going to say, well, count is, now this is where it's a little bit, have to know the Java language a little bit here. With count, we're going to say, well, count is less than, and we're going to say numbers dot length. Now this is just some Java code for how we can get the length of that array. Okay, so that keyword dot length just tells me I want to get numbers, the length of those numbers. Well, count is less than the number's length. Okay, because we 1, 2, 3, we want to go through there. And then we want to increment or count each time. So we learned how to do that last lesson, plus plus, which means count equals count plus 1. And then we want to do something inside here. So what do we want to test in here? Well, let's first of all, let's say if. Let's do an if statement here. If max, so our max value from up here, is less than numbers. Now this is, notice how I'm going to name this. Numbers, and I put those square brackets, count. Now, and then I'm going to talk about this in a second here. Then we want to change it to the max equals numbers count. So let's think about this logic that I just wrote here. Okay, so what's going to happen? We have a loop here. So you know this is going to loop through this until count is equal to, or less is equal to numbers.length. We know it's going to loop through there. Okay, so we understand that. Now what's happening in here? It says if our maximum value, which is starting at 0. So if I had all values less than 0, this wouldn't work for me, but it's going to work for this sake. If max is less than numbers count. Remember the first time this goes through, this is going to be 0, right? So it's going to be the 7. This is going to be the 7 too. So it's the first time it goes through, it's going to set that to 7. Okay, because this is going to be 0, which is going to refer to this value right here. Second time through, this is going to be 1, numbers 1. It's going to refer to this value. Okay, third time through, count is going to refer to this value. Fourth, it's going to this. Fifth, and sixth time through, it's going to refer to that. So it's going to get these values here, and it's going to loop through. And if it's greater, if max is less than the numbers count, it's going to set the new max to that value. So that's what we're doing on the inside. So that's all we need to know. And then let's just, inside this for loop, let's have it every time print system out dot print line, and we want it to go the new or the max is, and space, and then we could go here, and we want it to print every time for the first time through string dot value of max. We want to print that value out so we know what the heck that is. So when the max goes through. So a few lines of code here, but fairly complicated. We've got a loop, okay, that's going through this until count gets to that maximum value, which we have 6 values, okay, and then we're resetting the max as we loop through here. So let's see if this works. Let's just go save as, and let's run our Java application, okay. And so what happened here? Did this work? Okay. So the first time it looped through, okay, it says the max is 7. That's right. Okay. Second time it looped through, well, the number was smaller than max, so the max stayed at 7. Next time through, well, then max was smaller than 7. It looped through. Next time through, oh, we got a number that's new, so this if condition was met. Okay, and so then it moved the new max to 11. Next time through, well, 12 was bigger than the max, so it moved that to the new max, and then the last time through there. So that logic is very sound. Okay, so it's a way to loop through. Quickly, it found the max. Now, we didn't have to print this a whole bunch of times. If I wanted just to know the max after we went through that cycle, I could just cut, move this to the outside of the loop, and now it's only going to display the maximum number as we go through. And I could even mix these up. How about I change this to 15 here? So it should find that 15 in the middle. And so I'm just going to go here. I'm going to run this Java application. Max is 15. Okay, now you should be able to, if you needed to, figure out, well, how the heck could I find the min? You could change that to min easy just by changing some greater than and less than signs and changing these values around a little bit. But that's kind of a practical way that we would use loops, maybe to check a series of numbers in an array to find some values out very quickly. That's going to be all for this tutorial. Next tutorial we're going to move into functions, sometimes known as subroutines.